All right.
This is
Because, oops, I gotta get one. I have, I have the Editor-in-Chief Award for Al, but I have to get you the right color. And then I have the Travel Section Manager, Lawrence, because he's been doing a lot of traveling. Okay. And because Victor, because I know you're not going to be here, and we thought, hey, we had to use something. US dollars at work.
Thank you.
Thank you. Our Unsung Hero Award, we're presenting this year to Carl Shaw, who, because he's a musician, and he used to play for a band called the U.S. Army Band at West Point, is not able to be here because they had a reunion about a month ago, and he said that was a real cool thing that he should go to, and said, I'll pass on the CGO this year. So this year's Unsung Hero that we're going to be mailing him his award is going to be awarded to Carl Shaw, whose background is that he was in the U.S. Army band, several bands, and he played for this little band called the Vienna Philharmonic and took lessons from a guy named Leonard Bernstein, which I thought was rather cool. So those are the trivia about the, but he works a lot, and as Nadine and Lindy and Josh can tell you, he is one of our most steadiest contributors financially that we get monthly checks from. So that's very nice, and he's really hard work, does a lot. At this point, I'm going to turn this over to Mark Sullivan, and who is going to talk the award. We're going to talk about our Economic Justice Award and some other stuff. So, yes, no, you're in here. Here.
Well, as we know, we do have our annual Economic Justice Awards, and it is my honor, privilege, and pleasure to present two awards tonight. We have two co-recipients and people that I've known for many years. In fact, I met both of them early on in my Georgist career. When I started out as the staff and secretary of CGO, I was sent to various international union conferences. And the first one was in Holland and the Netherlands. And I think I met both Fred Harrison and Anthony Werner at those conferences. And then again in 1984, the conference was in Cambridge, England. And Fred's first book, The Power and the Land, was published. And it was published by Shepard Wallman, and Shepard Wallman is run by Anthony Werner. So they're going to, and they went on to collaborate on several other books up until the present day. The one that including the one that we launched last year called Rent Unmasked, which were essays in honor of Mason Anthony. So we'll be presenting those two awards. There's an image here of a young Fred Harrison, kind of with his wild hair, and I'm reminded a little bit of a line from Coleridge, Kubla Khan. His flashing eyes and floating hair make a ring around him thrice and cry, beware, beware. Fred has been sort of a crusader and dragon slayer for our cause, but as a writer and as an editor, he couldn't do it without a publisher. So in a way, this is for the team of Harrison and Werner, and Anthony is here to accept the award on behalf of Fred as well as himself. But we also have for you right now about a 6-minute video of Fred receiving the People's Book Award in England. And this was for Rent Unmasked, I believe. And you'll get it, if you don't know Fred Harrison, you'll get a nice taste of him.
That'll do. We get to hear Fred Harrison accept an award even if it's not ours. It's a bigger award anyhow.
This year, we're actually giving a second People's Book Prize Best Achievement Award. It's going to be shared with another. Here are some of the comments that readers have put on our site about this book. This book examines old problems through a fresh lens and offers policy solutions that would make a more equitable world possible. Help to solve global economic inequality and environmental destruction. It makes so much sense. We cannot understand today's economic problems and their remedies unless we unmask rent. As statesmen struggle to understand why our world is locked in a profound crisis, the book explains that the solution to political paralysis requires a new form of governance. After a career as a Fleet Street investigative journalist, the author was a consultant to a number of academic and political bodies, subsequently turning his attention to the failure of economic analysis and public policies in the market economies. Here's the award that was hidden here, and here's the envelope that will tell you that the second People's Book Prize Best Achievement Award goes to Rent Unmasked by Fred Harrison, published by Shepherd Walwyn Publishing Committee. Congratulations.
Thank you. First, may I endorse Tatiana's remark earlier this evening that every author here today is actually a winner. Books are a mark of civilization, and you've all contributed to the attempt to rescue a civilization that's actually in deadly trouble, right? In my view, there is no way in which we can recover from the very rapid decline that we're actually observing almost on a daily basis, unless the politicians get round to understanding that we need new foundations for the economy on which to reconstruct our civilization. And that's what Rent Unmasked is all about. And I'd like to thank my publisher, Anthony Werner, who's been publishing my book since the early 1980s. He's believed that ultimately, if sanity is to prevail, we need an ethical economics. And if you want to understand how to reconstruct a civilization that's in bad trouble, please visit the website of Shepherd Walwyn and read the Ethical Economics Catalogue, and there you will find a richness that is nowhere available anywhere else. Finally, this is a wonderful evening for me because my wife was the very first one to achieve an honour for a prize for her first book, and that was her first book quite recently, whereas I've been trying since the 1980s with no recognition. So finally, in the Harrison household, we now have equality. Thank you.
Congratulations on winning the People's Book Prize Best Achievement Award. What gave you the idea for your title?
Well, Rent Unmasked captures the essence of the problem that we're facing in the world today. There really is only one solution to rebasing the foundations of our civilization on an economics of sanity. We've got to change the tax system. And that's the one thing that politicians won't do. And it's very difficult to get the public to understand how we need to change the tax system so that we can get rid of things like inequality, poverty, unaffordable housing, but the politicians will not engage with this problem. That's why I call the book Rent Unmasked. We reveal in the book how if we really did seriously set about restructuring the way governments pay for public services, that's what we're unmasking, we would begin to abolish all the problems in our society.
And what stimulated you in the first place to think about writing it?
Well, I belong to a tradition that goes back more than 100 years, actually. The last time this policy was promoted actively in politics was by Winston Churchill 100 years ago. The proposal was actually part of the legislation in the Houses of Parliament. But the landlords managed to throttle the legislation, wouldn't allow it to be enacted. And since then, people like me have valiantly sought to bring justice to our economic system. I'm just the latest guy fighting to bring that justice for the people who need help.
An interesting book to be published at this time of the year. Absolutely. And have you got other books in the pipeline?
There are plenty of books. It's an endless stream, and frankly, it's all ethical economics. And if anybody really wants to learn about the ethics of economics, then they need to go to the website of my publisher, Shepherd Walwyn. They have a catalogue, Ethical Economics, and that has a range of books that actually gets to the heart of the problems that have traumatized our society. It explains why people mindlessly go and destroy children at a concert. That's the level of intervention that we need from the economists and the politicians.
Thank you very much indeed, and congratulations again for winning that prize.
So I think without further ado, Council of Georgist Organizations would like to present the Henry George Award, Economic Justice Advocate, presented to Anthony Werner by the Council of Georgist Organizations, July 30th, 2017. Come on up. Face the camera. Now don't leave. That's one for credit. And the Henry George Award, the Henry George Award Economic Justice Educator. All right, Anthony's the advocate, Fred is the educator. Presented to Fred Harrison by the Council of Georgist Organizations, July 30th, 2017. And the award shows the image of Henry George that was used on the Henry George cigar box I think that was used for his second campaign for mayor of New York.
What color is the tie?
Pardon?
What color is the tie?
Point out what
Oh yes, all right. His tie sports a Union Jack design in print.
I thought perhaps you'd put that on especially for the two Brits.
I think we did.
You did?
I believe we did. Who did
Yes,
this?
we change the tie every
Yes,
year.
yes. Oh, I didn't know this. We change the tie every year. But this year it's the Union Jack. So present this also.
Thank you.
And maybe we do one little photo.
One more photograph.
Sure.
I'd like Anthony to say a few words both on Fred's behalf and his own.
Well, thank you. Well, just to say thank you very much to all of you. It's a great honour to have received these awards, and well, Henry George means a great deal both to me and to Fred. And I remember the way I was introduced to Fred via Barbara Sobriella, whom many of you will remember. I was asked to go and collect some books from Vauxhall Bridge Road, and because I helped look after the bookshop in the School of Economic Science. And just as I was leaving with a box of books, Barbara said to me, "Oh, by the way, there's this young man who's got a manuscript."
If we want to discover where modern European civilization went wrong,
Right. I thought that was a heckler. But it was interesting. So that was how I met Fred, and we spent something like 6 months trying to find the title for that book, The Power and the Land. And right at the end, so that whenever we phoned each other while we were editing the manuscript, the first thing we would say, "You've got a new title." But then he invited me. He was a very well-paid journalist, working for the Mirror organization, and invited me to lunch. And he said to me towards the end of it, when do you have to go? So I said, "I need to be back in the office by 3. So he looked at his watch and said, "You had time to go and get a cigar," because that was the kind of lifestyle he was enjoying at that time. And while he was away, I remember just falling silent. And the title, The Power and the Land, literally seemed to sort of drop from heaven into the head. And so when he came back, I just said, "The Power and the Land," and said, "Come, let's go." So it's interesting, and I didn't realise at the time that he had that wonderful quote from Churchill at the beginning of the book, where Churchill talks about how every possible improvement of society ends up in the pockets of the landlord. I mean, that's one of the most fundamental points, that whatever benefit society confers on the poor ends up in the pockets of the rich. Yeah, it's right at the very front. Yes, it's quite. I mean, it's worth reading.
Yes.
It's got good Churchillian. Without his cigar, yes. It does not matter where you look or what examples you select. You will see that every form of enterprise, every step in material progress, is only undertaken after the land monopolist has skimmed off the cream for himself. And everywhere today, the man or the public body who wishes to put land to its highest use is forced to pay a preliminary fine in land values to the man who is putting it to an inferior use, and in some cases to no use at all. All comes back to the land value, and its owner for the time being is able to levy his toll upon all other forms of wealth and upon every form of industry. A portion, in some cases the whole of every benefit which is laboriously acquired by the community, is represented in the land value, and finds its way automatically into the landlord's pocket. If there is a rise in wages, rents are able to move forward because the workers can afford to pay a little more. If the opening of a new railway or a new tramway or the institution of an improved service of workmen's trades or a lowering of fares or a new invention of any public convenience affords a benefit to the workers in any particular district, it becomes easier for them to live, and therefore the landlord and the ground landlord, one on top of the other, are able to charge them more for the privilege of living there. It's very succinct, isn't it? So, thank you all very much.
Now, shall I introduce the speaker? Or do you want to do that, Dan?
Yeah, I want to, yeah.
Or, yes.
Well,
Oh, okay. I wasn't. No, I
was going to introduce Lindy. Here we go. I I have one complaint about the chef, which is he left before I could thank him for what I think is the best hotel food maybe best hotel food I've ever had. And everything was done well. All of the staff has been wonderful. They've all been competent and courteous and was enthusiastic about their jobs and kind. And I just think the whole hotel has been exceptionally good. So we'll send them a video of that. He can be thanked remotely. But that was the main thing that I wanted to say that hasn't been said, is that this hotel has been exceptionally just competent, and I'm real happy about that.